Welcome to the Empowered Team podcast. I am your life strategist here to optimize your world and your business and life. My name is Kari Schneider, and today we are talking about a fresh start. But here's the key question. Do you start fresh or do you let it go? Ooh-wee. Do you start fresh or do you let it go? The fresh start effect is a real thing. We're going to answer these things today. What is a fresh start effect? We're going to answer, is it time to let go of that goal? We're going to take a look at what does it look like for a real fresh start? And what do you need permission to do in order to get to that goal? Because if you are listening to this podcast, you are up to some things that are definitely larger than yourself. And you love to take action, but you probably, if you're anything like my clients, if you're anything like me, you probably have this tendency to beat yourself up just a little bit, or maybe a lot sometimes, if you mess up, if you've failed, if something's gone wrong, if you didn't get it right. Okay, take a breath. That's all right. These things happen. So, first things first. If you have a goal, you've probably used some form of triple vision. Now vision, your next vision, and your far vision is that goal coming true. But when you went into your plan, because I'm imagining that you made a plan, something didn't work out. And the biggest reason things typically don't work out is not because anything actually went wrong, but because you had a unrealistic expectation. An unrealistic expectation right there. Somebody's made their next level in sport and they figure they're going to make the next level to the Olympics. Somebody made their first $10,000 in their business and they figure they're going to be a millionaire by the end of the year. Somebody decides that they are going on their fitness kick and they want to lose 10 pounds in 2 months. So these goals, you might have heard them and gone, oh, that's not so bad. That's not so hard. These things have happened. Of course, lots of people have gotten those goals, but most people have not. Most people have not actually lost the 10 pounds in 2 months. Most people have not made the $1 million after they've made their first 10,000. Most people have not gone on to the Olympics even after they've made a great university career or even made the national team. That's most people who have set goals like that. Most people don't make it. So what's the difference? What's the difference for you and your goal? What's the greater likelihood of you getting to your goal? I'm going to give you a secret here. It's really, really important. The first thing is to realize that those unrealistic expectations were just that. They were unrealistic expectations. They weren't anything crazy. There was nothing wrong with the goal. There was nothing wrong with having the goal. There was nothing wrong with making the plan. There's nothing wrong with a lot of the things that that happened. In fact, what happened was perfect because whatever went wrong gave you the secrets, gave you the tips, gave you the nuggets and information that you needed in order to get to the next step that's closer to your goal. But most of us, most humans, will see the thing go wrong, feel awful, and then that feeling overcomes the next action. Instead, we're so stuck in feeling awful that things didn't go well that we can't seem to see the lesson that was there, the nugget, the tip, the thing that's going to get us through to the next step. We needed to learn something from what went wrong. We needed to understand where our initial expectations were unrealistic. If we can get that, then we can make the tweak and the adjustment to move forward. And this is the critical spot. This is what we call the fresh start. The fresh start, this is a scientific phenomenon. It's called the fresh start effect. And it is that temporal, that time-related shift that we have in our psychology. We relate the ability to try again, the ability to let go of the past, the ability to keep going forward with a time marker. That time marker could be a Monday. Have you ever done that? You'll get restarted on the Monday or clean the thing up on the Monday or whatever it is. The Monday, the month start, the new season, the quarter start. And for most of you, we're in that. It's either a month start or a new quarter or a new season or one of those special birthdays, the 30, 40, 50, 55, 60, whatever you want to say. But those are the fresh start effect milestones. There's so many of them, and we naturally have this renewed energy, and we're psychologically more ready to release things and let go. Why? Because of a date on the calendar. So here's what I want to point to. This is how our brains can be so quirky. We will allow a date on a calendar to let us let go of the past. That's what gives us permission to let go of what went wrong. Instead, we can take a look at it, give ourselves the fresh start, and glean the lesson from what went wrong. So when we go into the fresh start effect, it's powerful, it's psychological, it is across cultures, it is across humans and genders. But here's the question. How do you know when it's time to let go? Because you might be hearing this and going, yeah, I did that. I gave my fresh start on the Monday, and then I did it in the next quarter, and I did it another month later, and then I gave another fresh start, but I just keep failing at this goal. Is it time to let this goal go? So that's a question for you. That's a question for you to figure out. And here's how I would suggest that you figure it out. Is your goal worthy to you? Because it's your goal. It doesn't matter if Susie next door does it. It doesn't matter if Joe in your competing business does it. It matters if you want to do it. It matters if it lights you up. The idea of accomplishing that goal lights you up. Because remember, the goal and getting to it is in your imagination. You haven't quite gotten there, but it's become visceral. It's become something tangible because you're thinking about it, because it's in your imagination. So imagining getting to that goal, does it light you up? And if you can say yes to that, it still lights me up, even though I haven't been able to do it, even though I haven't gotten to it. It still lights me up. If you can say yes, okay, then we get to pass go until you ask this next question. If it still lights you up and you now visualize maintaining that goal, settle into that part of it. And when I say maintaining that goal, what I mean is you visualize the new business. Oh, I'm going to start that business. You visualize making it to whatever, 500,000 in your earnings in your year, 1 million, 10 million. You visualize having a well-oiled machine. It works really well. You visualize the weight loss. You visualize the happy marriage, whatever it is, you visualized it. Okay, great. Now, can you see yourself maintaining it? Can you see yourself following through on what it takes day in and day out to make that goal happen, to make it real? Can you see yourself doing the work that it's going to take to get there, on the way there, maintaining it, keeping that level going, whatever that level is, whether it's an Olympic goal, whether it's a financial goal, whether it is a weight loss goal, whether it is a relationship goal, whatever it is, can you see yourself doing what it takes to maintain that or even go to another level? Because if your answer is no to that, then what is it about that goal? Is it being able to say that you did it? What is it about it that lights you up so that you can really have clarity around what you really want? Because that's what's going to give you the courage to face the failures. If it's not a worthy goal, a big deal, then it's probably not going to stretch you. And if it is a worthy goal and you are stretching like crazy and you're in a new territory, then guess what? There's going to be some failures. So those unrealistic expectations, they came from you visualizing yourself getting to that goal and not seeing any problems along the way. That's an unrealistic expectation. If you're going to stretch yourself and your goal is worthy, you're going to have to give yourself the gift of a fresh start. You're going to have to plan how those fresh starts are integrated into your path, into your direction. This is critical for you to be able to keep going on something that's going to stretch you, something that takes courage, something that's worthy of a big goal. So when I say fresh start, I'm not saying, okay, I messed up, let's try again. And then away you go and you do the same mess up and you try again and you mess the same thing up again and you try again. No, please no. What I'm saying is let go of what the mistakes were and beating yourself up. Gather the lessons and recommit to the goal. That is a fresh start. We're not just talking about starting again and starting over and forgetting anything that happened and avoiding looking at it. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about gather the lessons. Don't be afraid to look at what went wrong. However, let it go, let it be in the past. And once we have those lessons, recommit to that worthy goal and start fresh. You're not leaving things behind and avoiding them and avoiding how it felt. You're processing that, oh, that was disappointing. And it's probably because I had an unrealistic expectation. And wow, with that unrealistic expectation, I didn't realize how hard it was going to be. I didn't realize that I was going to have to do this and this and this. But now I know. So now I take the lesson of it's way harder than I thought it would be. Now I take the new lesson of I learned this and I learned this and I learned this, and I'm going to apply them. I'm recommitting to my goal. I'm starting again, but now I got this in my toolbox and I'm not as unrealistic as I started. That's for sure. So that's number 2 is if you've decided that your goal is worthy and you're going to keep going on that, then recommit armed. Recommit with more skills. Recommit with more tools. Do not just avoid what went wrong and pretend it didn't exist and put your head in the sand. Recommit and truly make it a fresh start, a reignited start, not just a do-over and trying to ignore what happened. Okay? That's number 2. And number 3, this one is a level of emotional intelligence, because in emotional intelligence, what we're able to do is we're able to identify our emotions. We're able to manage our emotions. We're able to influence our own emotions and understand our own emotions. So this last part is giving yourself permission to feel what you felt when things went wrong, and then giving yourself permission to not stick that towards yourself continually, but rather to let it go. Oh, that went really wrong. That felt really brutal. I really didn't like that. I had so much disappointment in the situation, in myself, in the fact that it went wrong. And then as humans, we have this ability to just swirl in that, to dramatize it, to fester in this disappointment. We don't need to do that. The third part for a true fresh start is the willingness to let go of how bad that thing felt. The willingness to process through it, not just avoid emotions, because I promise if you just avoid them and you do not allow some emotional space, it will come back at you. If you haven't experienced that, you're probably not a human. You might be a robot. So we have this tendency to experience things, and they're really hard. The hard things we don't want to feel. They don't feel good. But if you just allow it to be there for a second, it's going to make it so much easier to move on, to move forward, to let go of what happened, but only take with you the lessons you learned, the deeper understandings about yourself, the deeper understandings about what your new actions have been or the new situations. Because if they're new situations, there's a lot of learning going on. There's a lot of adapting for your brain to do. So give yourself permission to feel the feelings, let them go when the time is right, take your lessons, and go truly into a fresh start. In the word fresh, it feels good. It is fresh. And you are armed with greater strength, greater knowledge, greater lessons, an increased skill set to go towards your goal, that one that's worthy, that one that stretches you, that one that has impact and makes a difference. That, my friends, is where it's at. So I invite you to give yourself a fresh start. Chances are something's gone wrong. I know for me, let's say the book launch, opening a new site, Wycliffe Lodge, and all the construction. There have been so many things that have gone wrong, so many unrealistic expectations, and yet so many lessons. I've had so many insights and new skills come from those things that went wrong. So if it's a worthy goal, a book, a business, a relationship, a physical change, it's worthy. Go for it. You've got this. Fresh start your way into the next steps to keep going. You are empowered. You've got the tools. Keep taking action. Keep taking care of yourself. Keep being up to bigger things. Away you go.